Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Katerina, if you don't already know who I am. And today I'm going to be talking about how healing has changed my life, and I know a lot of other people's lives as well, but also how everything in this world and in this universe needs acknowledging, especially in order to heal, in order to move forwards with your life, in order to overcome attachments, in order to overcome self-limiting beliefs, old wounds. Everything needs acknowledging, and that is what healing allows us to do. Acknowledge all of these parts of us, from being a little girl or a little boy to where we're at right now, and acknowledging where we've come from along the way, and really delving into the feelings that we felt as a little girl, as a little boy, within certain scenarios and scenes within our lives, and coming at it from the higher self's perspective and seeing it from the bigger picture in order to see it from essentially a higher vibration, a higher frequency, and our higher selves. So I'm going to just share with you a little bit about my healing journey and how I've come to where I am at today through just beginning the journey, from reaching out to somebody to embodying it all, from actually learning it all, and now to where I am at today. So as we grow up, we live our lives, we're learning new stuff all of the time. We are literally being programmed, and from all kinds of ages, from the age of especially around 3 or 4, we start to pick up things, we start to live a certain way, we start to form our beliefs, we begin to form the way we react to things around us in certain situations, with relationships with our parents or siblings, or just the world around us. We really start to kind of get a sense of who we are, especially as we get a bit older and a bit older. We turn into a teenager, we then start to become a young adult, and then we keep developing, learning. But at some point within this kind of time, we are developing programs. Okay, so it's like, imagine like wiring your brain in a certain way. Okay, so you might develop a program that looks like this, whereas somebody else might develop a program that looks like this. And this is just a very crude way of explaining this, but essentially, like, the programs we develop within ourselves, and some of us might have a few, some of us might have many, some of us may have done the work and really honed it in and really changed those programs around to flip it into a positive. So these programs have formed who we are today, and essentially how we react to the world, and again, people around us, relationships, and our programs can dictate exactly where we are at right now in our lives. So what can we do when we start to see patterns or things in our lives keep coming back around? We feel like we may have dealt with them, yet they come back to bite us in the butt, and we just can't seem to stop that pattern from happening. It's like a revolving circle where you're kind of feeling stuck, or you're kind of thinking, oh, why me all the time, it's always me, or you're kind of in that kind of victim mentality, or just things are happening to you that you cannot control. But when you really stop, look in the mirror and ask yourself, okay, how am I attracting this situation or scenario into my life? You will start, and when you're really honest with yourself, you will start to see how you have attracted that situation or that person into your life, whether it be very negative, partially negative, or positive. You will see it's always a reflection of you. Everything in your life is essentially a mirror of you, because you are experiencing your world through your eyes, your lens, nobody else's. And those experiences are from all the beliefs and all of the patterns that you've developed over the years. So It's very deeply embedded within us, which is why when we go through a healing process, we have to start to delve into those layers, as I speak about many, many times in my videos, those layers that we need to peel back and get to the bottom of, to the very root, to the crux of that core of that pattern that isn't serving you, or that limiting belief that's not serving you. Because all of this stuff, the stuff that doesn't serve you, it's not really true. And it's really hard to believe, especially when you're in it. And don't get me wrong, I completely understand. You know, when you're in it, it's difficult to see that you can like live your life from a different perspective, or in a different frequency, or in a different energy. But when you start to shift through these layers, you will start to get those aha moments and awarenesses, and those awarenesses will start to set you free as you begin to let go and delve through them again, like getting deeper and deeper into those layers, and then starting to see the connections between people, how they've treated you over the years, what kind of beliefs you formed through the way they've treated you, etc., etc. And then you can start the whole forgiveness and seeing the lessons and seeing the gifts of every situation. And trust me when I say this, with every negative pattern you have created in your life, there has been a gift to that situation. Whether you can see it or not, whether you want to see it or not, it's true. There is always a gift of a situation, and it's such a beautiful way to live life when, you know, you can see someone close to you really down, or really just, you know, they're just not living to their highest potential. However, you can see different things within their scenario that have actually been a gift to them, so that it's been a bit of a wake-up call for them to do something about it. There's always some kind of gift. That's just one very kind of basic example, but there are some deep embedded gifts in all of the shit you've had to go through, essentially. And whatever's made you the person you are today, just trust that that is your soul taking you on this journey to wherever you need to go in order to learn these lessons, and then in order to move forwards and essentially upgrade yourself. So imagine every time you have a healing session, you essentially are upgrading yourself on a cellular level. You are upgrading your DNA, your structure of your cells. All of this is kind of regenerating, for a better word. I think regeneration is really the best word I can come up with right now, in terms of just like reigniting your sense of self and who you truly are on a soul level. Because who we are on a three-dimensional level is not necessarily who we truly are. Obviously on a soul level, that's going to be different. It's a bit more on a kind of spiritual level, where we do not react from our egos, where we can see things from a place of love and neutrality. We're able to just accept things as well, because a lot of the time when we're struggling, when we're in victim mode, when we're kind of seeing things happening to us, we are always not able to accept. And that's simply what it boils down to a lot of the time, is just not being able to accept a situation, accept a certain way that somebody might be, or accepting that the world is in the state that it's in. There's a lot of acceptance, and a lot of the time, and most of the time, it's not accepting the self. And when we don't accept ourselves, we really do just trap ourselves. We are unable to look past certain things and certain situations in our lives, and we're unable to move forwards as well. So I'm just going to quickly share with you my experience of my healing and what I've gone through, and my top two greatest struggles, which, you know, I've really had to overcome, especially in the last couple of years. And the first one is speaking my truth. Because growing up, I was always the mediator. I'm a middle child. I had two, let's say, more outspoken siblings, all girls. and I was always a mediator, family bickers, family arguments. I was always in the middle, felt a little bit confused as to why they were always arguing, and just felt like I was the odd one out. And I felt like if I did want to speak my truth or say something that I felt was the truth for me, I was always worried or scared, fearful of the reactions of the backlash. I used to, think of it as the backlash of what could come back at me. And that used to really scare me. So I never spoke my truth. And even as a kid, I had a stutter at one point. I don't remember it that clearly. I remember struggling to speak, but I had a stutter. And I do think that's very much tied to me just feeling like I wasn't able to just express myself. And although my stutter disappeared, I was still carrying that energy of not being able to express my truth, of what I truly want to say. And just with that, not being able to express my truth, there was a deeper layer of not trusting myself. And with that lack of trust in myself, I wasn't able to make certain decisions for myself that I should be able to make, or I wasn't able to trust that what I thought was the right thing to say, or I put too much pressure on myself to be right so that I would never end up speaking my truth. So through understanding and going through these different kind of themes in my life, I could get to the higher perspective of it all, of okay, these are the reasons why I couldn't speak my truth. These are the reasons why I couldn't trust myself. And then forgiving whoever I needed to forgive, and letting go, forgiving myself as well in all of this, and accepting, and then seeing it from the higher perspective, seeing it from my soul's perspective as well, and then being able to just move on with higher elevated emotions, giving me more of a sense of myself and who I truly am, and allowing me to be more authentic, which is honestly what we all are striving for. We all want to be able to be our true authentic selves throughout life, and just be able to be. We just want to be. And that's why, with my brand, it's all about feeling free, like a free soul. And that is my goal in life. And I struggle at times because for me, for instance, I see freedom, I feel like we all want freedom, but I see freedom as not being on social media all the time. However, this is my dichotomy. My issue was that, I want to feel free. I want to not be on social media because that is not freedom to me, of having to post every day, having to basically, always be available online. And I don't want that. So my problem or my issue was that, do I want the freedom or do I want a successful business? Because in order to have a successful business, especially as a lone ranger like me, flying solo, you have to be online. So that's where I've had this constant battle. And then there's that battle of not wanting to be visible, which I only realised, in recent times, that I've had an issue with not wanting to be visible. And that's where, I've had a few weight problems in the past, and that all stemmed from not wanting to be visible, wanting to stay small, wanting to just be in my comfort zone, and not really in the center of attention, because I just don't like attention, and I've never really have. And I can see now from all these kind of healing sessions, and seeing, growing up as a little girl, why I've come to feel like I don't want to be visible, why I can't speak my truth, why I can't trust myself, why I don't feel good enough as well, because not feeling good enough was another major program that I had, which affected every single area of my life. And I'm smiling now because, I'm on the other side of it all, and obviously still growing, still learning, still developing, but it's such an amazing journey to be on. And once you crack it, it's like cracking a code. It's literally just kind of getting to the bottom of who you truly are. And I haven't even touched on femininity, masculine. There's just so much. And honestly, guys, we have been programmed to a T. And not only that, like, you know, there's a whole other level of programming on a collective level on top of it all. And once you start to understand the systems that are at play and how the world is structured and how things really truly are, then that's just another level that you can learn to accept. And knowledge is power, as I like to say. So once you get the knowledge, you can then accept it for what it is, come at it from a level of neutrality, and see it from a higher perspective. And ultimately, that's how we want to live our lives, whether it be, you know, looking at things on a global level, on a kind of more personal level, or on a soul level. So yes, that is pretty much my little spiel on healing, and just how honestly it is life-changing. You can just heal certain parts of you so that you don't go over the same programs over and over again, and you're literally freeing yourself up. You're taking a deep breath or a few deep breaths, and you're just taking life in from a higher perspective again, from greater awarenesses, and just being able to live with a big smile on your face and seeing the lighter side of life. And there are so many things I can go into, again, on top of what I've already said. You know, the body-brain link, you know, how ailments in the body and diseases are linked to the brain and our thinking patterns. Honestly, guys, this is really, really it's just very profound. Okay, that's the best way I can describe it. It's all very profound, and once we start to go on our journeys and we overcome this feeling that, oh, I need healing, I feel a bit embarrassed to say that I need healing, like, that is bullshit. Like, in my opinion, every single person on this earth could do with a little bit of healing or a lot of healing, depending on where they're at. But there's always a program to overcome in order to improve our lives, in order to set us free ultimately. So just have a think about what kind of repeating patterns are showing up in your life, what kind of programs you're trying to overcome in your life, or if you've already overcome them, then amazing. Just think about that as well and how far you've come. And you know, these could be any kind of programs, from, like I said, not feeling good enough, not trusting yourself, being afraid of the feminine, being afraid of the masculine, not speaking your truth, wanting to stay small, wanting to stay invisible, or wanting to be the center of attention all the time. It could be anything. Just start to just be aware. What kind of same kind of thinking patterns are you experiencing in your head that you may not really want to share with other people? But just be truthful with yourself and be real with yourself. Just have a think about it. If you do feel like you need some healing, then obviously reach out to me. I'm taking on a few clients at the moment, and I've got my 12-week course as well, my group course, coming up soon, where the healing will also be involved. But honestly, if you want to propel your life and just jolt forwards a few steps, then heal those parts of you that you haven't dealt with, and ultimately acknowledge those parts of yourself and of other people and of the world that needs acknowledging. Because, like I said at the beginning of this video, everything in this universe requires acknowledgement. So with that, beautiful people, I will let you go, and I will hopefully see you next time.